Hi everybody, I hope that you're all doing well. We're here with a general reading. Before we get started, let's set the intention for this to be a space where everyone allows themselves to feel seen and validated, and ultimately for this to be a safe space and a healing space in alignment with everyone's highest good. So, I'm seeing you working through something that may feel difficult right now. I'm seeing that it's also very temporary. It feels like a very temporary challenge that you're working through. It may be a very tough challenge, but it is also very temporary. It's transitional. And I'm seeing that this is like a fight for a cause or fight for your purpose or something that you believe in. I was seeing the Chariot and also the Star. So this is like, there's a bigger meaning, a bigger purpose behind why you're doing what you're doing. You feel like it's important to you. You're also trying to be strategic with the way that you're doing this. Star can have to do with activism and stuff, or just like something that you believe in, a higher purpose. It can have to do with the collective, why you feel like you're here, your mission, art that you want to create, a dream that you're pursuing. Something that like maybe you want to be known for, or something that feels important to you to explore, to express, things like that. A point that you want to get across. You could definitely be having lulls too. I saw the Four of Cups wanting to come out. This can be like hitting a patch where everything feels kind of medium and mundane and like nothing's really sparking for you. A transient state. Dispassionate is the word that's coming through. For anybody new that's tuning in, I channel as well as interpret the tarot cards when we do the readings. Yeah, see, I just said the Four of Cups. I have the Four of Cups here. Also have the Eight of Swords. So, with the Eight of Swords, it's... Eight of Swords is being in a space where you may find yourself in a position and be like, there's no way out. It's one of those times where you may be having a hard time. You may feel like blocked from your creativity. You know, when you feel connected with your creativity, you can think outside of the box. You can come up with creative solutions, things like this. This can be like so stuck in a space, especially like mentally in your head, where you feel like your energy is kind of frozen, or you're in a gridlock, or you're kind of blocked. But this person has like a mask on their face, over their eyes, a blindfold. And so what this card is about is that there may be more options than you're able to recognize right now. Sometimes it's circumstantial, and it has to do with the timing, where it's like maybe you're supposed to be just in this spot being still for right now, and an answer is going to come to you. But either way, just know that this space is temporary for you. I also see, like, with this card particularly, you may feel kind of like you can't express yourself in a way that you want to. Like, I see these swords as being like all around this person's throat chakra, which has to do, your throat chakra is your Mercury energy. So it's like how you are thinking, but it's also how you're receiving information and also how you're expressing information. So you may feel like, maybe scared to make a move, or I don't want to say the wrong thing, or like, what if I choose the wrong choice here? So it's, again, like being really in that space of feeling frozen and kind of like, I don't know what to do here within this situation. And Four of Cups can be like when we get into this spot where we feel like there's not movement and flow, we can get this feeling of like depression, or you feel like this this blueness kind of weighs down and covers everything that you're feeling. So you may have been in a spot where it's like, in an ideal situation, I would be able to move and I'd confidently know the answer, or I wouldn't be stuck in this situation. But because I'm here, like some people, when they get overwhelmed, what happens is, again, this like sense of depression, like feeling like the world is pressing very heavily like upon your shoulders and your back, and you kind of feel like you're being squished right now. maybe a good time to rest a bit, if possible. You may actually need it. I'm also hearing something about drinking juice. I'm not a naturopath or a doctor for these purposes or anything like that, but there could be something going on with your blood sugar, your energy level, or you may, I don't know, maybe fruit would help. When I'm getting this thing of juice coming through, it automatically has me feeling like blood pressure, sugar, things connected with that. But yeah, eating live foods can be helpful, like meaning fruits and vegetables specifically. But I'm definitely getting something about fruit coming through, like maybe that would be helpful to you. I'm getting stuff about cherry juice now. Always check with your doctor. I'm just letting you know what's coming through. Follow through at your discretion. Yeah, a lot of energy that has you feeling like all of these cards are feeling like if you express yourself or if you express something that like, oh, like I feel uninspired, my thing, what I want to do is not going to be effective, like kind of feeling like you're in a slump. This is like, what if I say the wrong thing, or what if I make the wrong choice, or like there's no way out of this situation. This is like feeling that maybe other people are working against you in some way, or just feeling conflicted. It's like all of these seemingly opposite forces kind of battling and fighting against one another. It looks like the key to this is going to be doing something new and maybe spontaneous, potentially outrageous, or not what you would normally do. I'm looking at the Fool on the bottom of the deck. This can be taking a chance, taking a risk, taking a leap of faith, trusting yourself, doing things in a different way, outside of the box, doing maybe something you wouldn't normally do, creative solutions. Like, I'm seeing the Uranus, which is represented by the Fool. I'm seeing that that energy is going to help you. Uranus is an innovative, creative energy, and it's one that you can't really guess its next moves that it's going to make. You've been really going through it. I'm seeing stress also that you're feeling too. Wow. Okay. So, even though you're going through a very difficult time right now that you may not feel particularly thrilled to be working through, to be ending this part of the spread with the Justice card means that there is a rebalancing that's going to be happening. So just hold tight for right now. Justice is like a rebalancing of the scales that will be taking place. You may be more low energy than usual. So this rebalancing is going to be happening. This can be on like quite a large scale actually with the Justice card. So the Justice card comes down and rebalances the scales. Six of Swords is about moving on from all of this. So whatever this is that has been really bogging you down, you're going to be moving on from it. So this is just a temporary, a liminal space. Whatever you've been feeling is not united. You are moving towards unity. So there is like a coming together that's happening. That's going to be happening. But yeah, some of you feel like There are certain things that you want to express that you're not able to. You may be feeling like quite disillusioned too. Like I see this Four of Cups as being disillusioned and just being like, where did all of the excitement in my life go? I feel like nothing is really sparking. Like the Four of Cups reminds me of the opposite of the Page of Wands, where like you don't feel particularly inspired. Five of Wands can be like, every time I try to do something, I feel like there's an opposite equal force working against me. And the Ten of Wands is like, I feel like I'm kind of alone to be doing all of this stuff. Like, where is my support? Where is my help? Why do I feel like I'm alone doing all of this myself? Like, where's my support system? So yeah, it's like really, really heavy stuff energetically that you've been moving through that does not feel comfortable to be within. But as I said before, you're going to be moving away. Like even looking, see how much light is on the Justice card? See how dark all of these other cards are? All of the darkness. It's like having your eyes closed, metaphorically speaking. But things are going to be lightening up. And then this is like a gradient. It's kind of like transitioning out of that. So you're going to be moving on, moving away. The Six of Swords is about being in a space of transition where you are leaving the shores of a land that has become very heavy and dense and chaotic and lacks peace, and you moving onto the water, like you are traveling to another bank of land, and that other bank of land has the promise of things feeling more settled and more peaceful. And that is the point. It's allowing you to really transition and really move on from something that, like, I don't see why one would want to stay here in whatever situation this is that you're in. So the Justice card means like there is a way, there is an opportunity to rebalance now, meaning whatever this is that you've been dealing with, you don't need to deal with it any longer. So there is something that's going to be happening that is going to be an opportunity for liberation for you, to allow you to truly move on. If that's what you choose to do. It's always going to be a choice. Justice card also represents a balancing of the mind and also the emotions as well. You want to move on, you feel scared to move on. What I'm getting is being in a spot where it's like where you are now, you may feel so uncomfortable that it's like, I hate being in this spot. I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel happy. I don't feel the way that I want to feel, but I'm also scared to change. I'm also scared to move on too. Which is more common than one might think. When we move to a space where we are taking accountability, it means that we recognize that it's on us, the situations that we're in, what we stay in, what we move towards, all of that. When we're in a space where we're kind of looking around at other people and it's like, it's that person's fault, it's this entity's fault, it's that situation's fault, all of this stuff, as much as we can feel like a sense of powerlessness, it can be easier because we can like kind of push off the blame on other people. However, when we get to a point where it's like, okay, I'm accountable for myself, for my feelings, for my happiness, for my spiritual development, that means that if I'm not developing, that's also on me then. Or if I'm not feeling happy, that's also on me then. So it puts the responsibility on us, which many times we can want to avoid that, because it means we're the only ones to blame if things are going south too, which can be a lot. And our ego's like, no, not me. It's never me. It's that guy over there that looked at me the wrong way when we crossed the street, you know? Something like that. But I'm seeing you get to a point where it feels like something is coming through and bringing you the opportunity where it's like, hey, that door that you wanted open to be able to leave this room where it just seems very doom and gloom that you've been stuck in, that door is getting unlocked and it's being opened for you. So now you have the opportunity to move through. But the Nine of Swords is like, but I don't want to, I'm scared. So you may feel like kind of frightened of the change and to move on. It's that saying that comes back to, even though you may be in a place where you're suffering, at least you know what that suffering looks like. And if you were to move on from it, like, you don't know what that could bring or what that could open up for you. So you may be like, I'd rather stay with what I know than what I don't. However, you want to be asking yourself, what's motivating your choices? Are you motivated by confidence, by love, by empowerment? Or are your decisions motivated by fear and by anxiety? Because that's going to breed more of that. Whatever is motivating your choices, you are going to be accumulating and cultivating more of that within your life. So before you're making choices or avoiding choices, you want to ask, what's that motivating factor behind it? What this is too is that you may have never expected this door to be open for you, that like now you're allowed to exit this cage that you've been feeling that you've been in. And so with the Nine of Swords, as much as it can be like, oh, it feels very scary, it feels intimidating to move on, the story with this card is that it's like when you wake up from a nightmare and you know how it still feels very real and you can still be wearing like that fear and that anxiety like when you wake up, but you go throughout the day and like that kind of leaves you, like you shed that as you move throughout the day, it becomes less real. It's going to be a situation like that with this too, where at first when it's like, here, the door is open, you can go through it, you may be kind of shaking in your boots at this situation here. Like, I don't know if I really want to move on. I've been saying I wanted this for so long, but now that it's actually here, I don't know how I actually feel about that. Do I really want that? Do I not? What do I want to do here? And if you like give yourself some time and work with this rather than be like, oh, that's scary, I'm running in the opposite direction. If you kind of sit with this a bit, you're going to allow yourself to shut it and like get more used to, grow more accustomed to this idea of potentially moving out of this situation that you want to move out of. But yeah, it's going to like gradually not feel so intense. But yeah, if your system is dysregulated and you don't feel like you're at a neutral baseline, you may feel more in like fight or flight. And so whenever something new is being introduced to you, you may immediately like assess it as something that could be harmful to you. So this is kind of working also on you learning how to self-regulate as well. Which is definitely a skill that will carry you through many different things in life. Here it is. I'm looking at the Death card. This is like, of course anybody would be scared, intimidated of this. The Death card means a big change. It means kind of like shedding what you know and who you thought you were and all of those things, and allowing yourself to succumb to the changes that your soul is asking you to develop through. But yeah, it can be really hard, especially when we feel very stuck in identifying with our experiences and again, like who we think we are. You may also have some mental health stuff that you're rebalancing as well, that you're working with, which makes things like more challenging. It's kind of like everybody is on a 5-mile jog, which is like hard enough to begin with, right? And you have like an extra 20-pound vest on that you have to run with as well. So you have a difficult challenge here, but it's not impossible. But the Death card asks us to surrender. And it's something that you may feel like you've been resisting this for a very, very long time. And of course, it's scary. It can feel very destabilizing when we go through something big like this, because our ego is like, don't get rid of me, you need me. And it's not like the ego is ever going to disappear, but it's something that may feel very triggering to you to go through changes, and to not resist it and to not fight it. But I get the sense like it's kind of this thing that you may have always been fearful of, and being like, maybe I can avoid it today, or like you open your door and there it is waiting for you, and you're like, nope, I'm gonna close it, like not today. But doing that every day, every day, every day, every day, now you get to a point where it feels harder to resist, but it's going to mean that a lot of things will be changing. And what this looks like to me is facing maybe your biggest fear. But it's not for no reason. This isn't arbitrary. This isn't like you've been scared of cliff diving your whole life now, like your guides are going to push you off. It's not like that. This is something where this is the barrier between like your soul development or you staying stagnant where you've been in a very uncomfortable space. And I will say this too. For those of us that are very stubborn when it comes to changes, the ways that we've set up our contracts here within this life is that we will be in more and more uncomfortable circumstances that become so critically uncomfortable that it forces us to change, because it's like, well, I can't go back there, so you have to be pushed through it. You have to move through it. And so it seems like some situation is becoming so intense now, and also the avoidance and the fear has become so intense now, that there's just going to be like maybe even a total succumbing to this change that is going to be taking place. But I also get the feeling of this being very, very built up as well, where once you start going through this, once you're like, okay, I surrender to it, okay, like you win, you wave the white flag, and then the Death card comes and it's like, okay, let's go, it's time for a change, like get in the chrysalis, we want to see you be a butterfly now. And it's like you get in the chrysalis and you're like, wow, I thought this was going to be so scary, but it's really warm in here and it's nice and I feel safe, and it wasn't at all what I thought that it was going to be. But I'm seeing this be like really a mental game that you've been playing with yourself, where once you really go through this process and you come out on the other side, you're going to be like, there was so much fear holding me back and I can't believe it took me this long to do, which everything happens in the time that it's supposed to, yeah. And then it's like all of a sudden you have that support you were looking for and you're not working alone. And I'm seeing something that felt like you were at a point where you were like, I can't do this anymore. I'm maxed out here. I'm at my capacity. And then all of a sudden you're there. You are where you were trying to go. And there is a rebalancing of the scales that happen. I'm also seeing this too. Your guides are like, do not discount this. I'm seeing that you have been making progress, definitely, and you have been developing as well. It looks like this next aspect of the development that you're going to be going through, this evolving that you're going to go through, may be a more drastic one. But there have been this kind of like edging up onto this that's been happening. Like these slow changes that have been occurring. Something definitely starts feeling lighter as well, is what I'm seeing here for you. There it is. 8 of Wands. All paths lead home. No matter which way you decide to go, no matter which route you take, no matter which route you take, this one, this one, this one, this one, so on and so forth, you are going to get to where you are meant to go. So either way you cut it, the rebalancing is going to be happening. I'm hearing that's the magic of it all. So even though you do have options and you do have free will and you do get to pick how you want to get where you're going, which it's like this can be a fight and this can be a kick and a scream, or this can be a surrender, or this can be a little bit at a time, whatever it is, you're going to get to where you need to go, okay? So it's all going to be exactly as it is meant to be, as always. And we have this on the bottom of the deck, which is all about the divine and our connection with the divine and our connection with everything around us, and love and empowerment and unity and collaboration and all of that. The essence of life. Big focus on Libra, because that's the only card, the only major arcana. Libra and also Scorpio. Almost didn't see that there. So yeah, with Scorpio, there can be a focus on your 8th house, a focus on your Scorpio energy. With Libra, a focus on your Libran energy, your 7th house. I'm also hearing Virgo, too. Maybe something going on in your 6th house or with Virgo. Alright, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everybody for joining. Thank you for tuning in. I'm wishing everybody love and light and healing, and I hope to catch you guys next time.